This is a common thing that comes up over and over and over again with my new patients. People today aren't sleeping. They're not sleeping well, which means a few things. First of all, they're having trouble going to sleep. To begin with, they're tossing and turning for hours at night. Number two, they're not staying asleep. So they might go to sleep, but then they wake up at 1 a.m. every single day or 3 a.m. every single day and cannot go back to sleep. Or they're restless. They're constantly turning over, tossing and turning, getting up to use the restroom. Those are also common complaints I hear. The fourth thing I hear is, I felt like I slept, but I am so tired when I wake up in the morning. Well, what do all of these things have in common? They all have in common the fact they're just not getting enough air to actually be able to stay asleep. Funny, but breathing is actually necessary for life, and the body knows this. So if you are not getting enough oxygen at night, your body simply will not let you stay asleep because it knows it cannot survive unless it's getting the air it needs. But here's the problem. So I see people with all kinds of symptoms related to this. Just today I saw a gentleman whose hands are numb all the time. His feet are numb. He gets really bad aching in his legs. Well, as we started to talk about it, we realized that he really gets very low levels of oxygen at nighttime, but even during the daytime, for things I'm going to talk about in a moment. When there's low levels of oxygen coming in, the oxygen doesn't get to the blood. So the blood itself doesn't have enough oxygen in it. This is termed thin blood. You might have heard that before. What that means is simply each of those red blood cells that's supposed to carry oxygen to all of the cells in the body, each of those red blood cells doesn't have enough oxygen in it. So when it goes to deliver its load, there's not enough to deliver. It's kind of like the UPS guy that lost all of its load on the way there. By the time he arrives at your house, there's nothing left to give. So that leads to numbness, aching, muscle problems, bone issues, circulatory issues, nerve problems, all of the above, because they're all dependent on oxygen. So what do we do about it? Well, the gold standard, or the thing that typically medicine does for this, is offer something called a Cpap. What does that mean? It's positive pressure oxygen that's forced into the airway, either through the nose or through the mouth or through both. Now, the idea of this is awesome, right? All right, if you're not getting enough oxygen, let's just give you more. But I want you to stop and think for just a minute. First of all, this is really completely forgetting the concept that this doesn't solve anything. Just giving you more oxygen doesn't fix the thing that's allowing you not to get enough oxygen right now. You're not fixing a thing. It's a Band-Aid. So as long as you're wearing it, you're getting more oxygen, but nothing's better. So during the daytime, during times you nap, nothing's any better. Well, don't you want it to actually improve? Do you really want to be married to that Cpap for the rest of your life? Most people actually say they don't like wearing it, they don't sleep well with it, or they just refuse to wear it entirely. The great news is that we have answers that don't involve being married to a piece of equipment for the rest of your life. They actually involve finding root cause of why you're not getting enough oxygen and then addressing that. So what are these root causes? Well, the first thing we look at is just the simple tube that you breathe through. And this is a flexible tube. So when people say I had to have my throat stretched, well, the airway itself is a tube. The problem is that things from the back, which is the spinal column area, if you've got neck or back issues, or things from the front, which is everything in the mouth, can actually push their way into the space that air should be able to go through. Now, why would they do that? Neck and back issues are often related to what's going on in the front of the mouth as well. If you have infection in the mouth, this could be failed root canals. This could be areas where teeth were removed, particularly wisdom teeth that didn't heal properly. This could be gum infection. All of those things will cause swelling, right? Think about an infection anywhere. Anytime you have an infection, the body sends all of its army to that area and creates an inflammatory reaction. That's your body's own defenses going to work, trying to take care of what's happening there. That causes inflammation and swelling. Well, if this infection never goes away, you're going to have constant inflammation and swelling back into that airway. And it's taking the space of where air should go. Sometimes this is developmental. Sometimes your mouth didn't grow big enough to house the tongue and all the tissue that's in the back of the throat. So we actually need to make more room for things to fit. Sometimes your tongue is actually tied down to the floor of the mouth and sits back into the airway rather than up and forward like it should, simply because of the way it developed. So what do we do about it? The first thing we do is we take a cone beam CT scan and we say, what's going on with the airway? Is there enough room for air to get through? If the answer is no, why? Is it the nose? Is it the tissue in the mouth? Is it the size of the mouth? Is there infection going on? And then we take these things one at a time and take care of them. If it's infection, we remove it. Either an infected tooth or an area where the tooth didn't heal or the bone didn't heal properly, we clean it out. If it is a size problem, we make the mouth bigger. If it's a tongue tie issue, we release the tongue tie with a laser. We retrain the tongue where to go. All of these are fixes to causes of the airway issue, rather than just a Band-Aid, rather than just forcing air down your airway. So, why should you look into doing something like this? It's if you have the symptoms I talked about at the beginning: fatigue, brain fog, leg issues, muscle pain, circulatory problems, numbness, tingling, sometimes even ringing in the ears can be related to this. All of these things, weight gain, a whole bunch of things, I could keep going. All of these things are related to low oxygen levels. Step one, get a CT scan. Let's find out what's going on with that airway. And then we can talk about what treatment do we do to actually fix this for real, rather than just giving you a Band-Aid like a Cpap. So a lot of people ask me, am I opposed to Cpaps? The answer is no, but it's not a solution. It's a Band-Aid. It's a stepping stone along the way to get you more air now. But my goal is to get you more air forever. That's what I want to do. Let's find the solutions. Let's give you the answers so that you can breathe again on your own.